way I interpreted it is that we had these different models, and I call it, there's a model of reality, right? And there is a general consensus of opinion regarding most people as to how that model works, right? But obviously, that model of reality is very superficial when condensed, when understood, because we live on a very superficial wavelength of reality, right? So we can never really understand anything at all. We can only have a very general outline or superficial viewpoint of reality. But living within those closed parameters, right, do you know what I mean? One can still evolve a general outline of how things work, right? So going from there, right, I've now subscribed to this fact that, going along with my thing, I know that this deeper level of reality, which is bubbling underneath, all right, let's say it's underneath the surface of the veneer of so-called reality, superficial reality that we live in, right? Underneath there, I sense that true creation is that's where you want to be. It's like you want to be home. You want to be in that perfect world where everything is in harmonics, where, you know, instead of being in some vehicle, you just fly there in your mind, you know. It's like Peter Pan. It is like Peter Pan in a sense, but even though people would take the mick out of that, there is something incredible about it to be able to perceive that what if you could access that world where you could be like, you know, like a fairy spirit or an angelic spirit, you know, totally free with creation and totally at one with the creative intelligence. That to me would be the ultimate sort of like stage of evolution, because people talk about the problems of the world, they talk about the resolutions, they talk about the return of Christ and everything else like that. But what is this like leading to? They never really talked about what it would be like when the resolution has been accomplished, when, like, you know, you were in the perfect kingdom. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I can see that perfect kingdom because I understand it in creation. I can see it like an angelic type, fairy type kingdom wherein everything is no longer held in contamination by physical systems and cycles. You're no longer in a prison. You've got the total creation is totally allowed to be free, because it's reached a point of maturity where it understands itself, that therefore it can create perfectly.
Looks like metal.
Yeah, obviously you couldn't leave that much coal in there, would it? Because it would be too much for that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want fresh.
What I'm saying is, what's the perfect balance? Like 5 in one of those pots.
Yeah, I mean, if you're growing, it depends. If you're growing outdoors, you put them 6 inches apart.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have one to each pot, but
then you get a fairly big plant.
You get a huge plant.
Well, I might try a few like that. Do you know what I mean?
You would get a massive plant. It would think it was Christmas.
Yeah.
Because it's incredibly good soil.
Yeah.
Much better than you get in the field or a garden. And it's got loads of room for the roots to go down. There's no obstructions. I mean, you could grow, you know, a really beautiful flower.
Yeah.
In a pot like this on its own.
I might grow some flowers. Got any suggestions?
Pinks sent the place out.
Pinks?
Yeah. But basically, I'd say my suggestion would be go to Sue's and basically see what flowers are there that you like.
So where does she grow her stuff?
Oh, she's got polytunnels.
Point. And it's true, it's made me, because I didn't develop as a child and I had to catch up with everybody later on in life, it meant everything has been really difficult, right? And that has been the key to making me tried to understand the psychology of why people are like they are, in the sense of why I don't particularly like their psychology, right? And I would never have attempted to understand the psychology of this planet to the degree that I have if I hadn't have been initially activated by that negative trigger, right? So there I thought I can justify it, right? Even though, and then I find myself with a dilemma, I find myself with a schism, right, between these two things, between understanding intellectually just exactly what the situation is, but at the same time emotionally rebelling against it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's where the schism occurs.
Exactly.